Hello, today I would like to show you extremely interesting tactical radio that I was waiting for a long time to get my hands on. This is a Thomson TRC-552. This radio was used by a French army, as you can see here on the sticker and on the manual. Everything is in French. Why this radio is so interesting? That's because if we take a look at the user manual, this is a tactical VHF FM radio. And what are tactical VHF radio? We can take a look at the TRC-552. We can take a look at TRC-117G. All of these radios are tactical, and they go from 30 megahertz and they go upward to the micrometers wavelength, like 2 gigahertz. But there is one common thing: they don't go below 30 megahertz, because 30 megahertz is clearly HF. And this radio is amazing because it can go down to 26 megahertz and go up to the public broadcast frequency. It has that limitation that it is quite a low power radio, 2 watts. That's what you can expect nowadays from a handheld. And also the other bad thing is that it is only frequency modulated. That's mean on the FM most call on the HF are done in the single sideband, like the international calling frequencies. But you can still operate this on FM, even in the citizen band, which is not technically legal, but at least UK is working on the FM, the Germany is working on FM, and yeah, you could make a contact on the citizen band. Of course, it will go also, the citizen band is the lowest value. You can go to the 10 meter amateur radio, but there will be the same thing, but you will be able to make a contact, I'm pretty sure. And I'm pretty sure also that it's going to beat any handheld radios that in theory they've got a 4 watt output power, but into the rubber ducky, and here you can attach a antenna that is like a 2.4 meter, and that should beat any handheld radio. I'm pretty sure we can make a test on that. So let's take a look why it's also very interesting. It's also interesting because of a perfect voltage range from a 12 volt to 30 volt. Why this is so important? That's because most of the army radios are designed to operate from a 12 volt, and that means the only option is to use a nickel cadmium on nickel metal hydride or sealed acid, but nowadays that is a terrible option, and most likely you would like to use lithium ion cells. And with this unit you've got absolutely no problem. You've got a very high voltage swing that will allow you to use a 4S configuration on lithium ion. So here is the spec. If you are interested, you can take a look. Very nicely in hand. It's not extremely big radio. Here on the back there is a battery that I'm waiting for shipping. Here you can see the plate. As you can see, it was made in 91. On the side, extremely stupid. I have no idea who came with idea to have a audio port on side. yeah, why have a beefy connector like this on side where you can hit it with something and break? And if you take a look, there is clearly enough room to make them straight, so they will be just like on the antenna going upward. I've got absolutely no idea, but it have also a very nice thing that I'm going to show in a second. Let's take a look in back. Clearly my wire is positive and the negative. We are going to get a use out of it, but I'm going to power it on and show you how to program this radio. This is the front panel. Here we've got a standard VNC 50 ohm output. Here we've got other output for the whip antenna. Whip antenna is very similar to the one on the TRC-552. Here is a gooseneck, but I'm not sure about the thread. I will try this and check if this is working. So here you screw this, and I extremely love this gooseneck because you can go like this and operate your radio from that position. This is how I like my radio to be, not to stand just like that because it can be easily knocked out. And the blade whip, I'm going to show you just in a second. This is the blade whip antenna, also looking very similar to the one on the TRC-552. Just a steel whip. You can collapse it if you like. Of course, don't use it that way because it affects the impedance, but for transport you've got no problem. Okay, so that's the part about the antenna. Under flap we've got our display with a keypad. The display is very old school but extremely nice. Here we've got a squelch control. Under that flap we've got some kind of alignment that I've got absolutely no idea what's that. It's close to the squelch, so we could technically assume you might regulate the squelch by this, but absolutely I've got no idea and I'm not going to play with this. So if you know what kind of regulation that pot is, you are welcome to tell me. Here we select the mode, which is a channel step, because this radio can operate on 25 channel spacing or 50 kilohertz channel spacing, and also it can work with a 150 NATO tone. So on these settings we are at 25 channel spacing without NATO tone. Here we are with 25 channel spacing with 150 tone, 50K channel spacing with 150 tone, and 50K channel spacing without NATO tone. So yeah, you're probably going to use it only once, and when you select your correct mode of operation, because you can forget about this and the tuning you are due from the keypad. Here we've got our channel selector. This mode is used for programming, and maybe I will make it in the reverse, but maybe not. Here you are using the handset for selecting channels, because let's take a look. This is the handset, and extremely lovely handset. That's how it looks like. And here you've got a channel selector. You can have a quick access to the 4 channels just from the handset. You can find that solution on modern radios when on a clone of a H250 handset. You've got a small LCD and you can make an adjustment. As you can see, so many years ago they've got exactly the same thing. If you can have a call and you can try a different frequency, you do not have to take out this radio from your bag, and you can change the frequency. So extremely nice. So that's the selection that you are going to go to use the handset. This setting you are going to use to program the radio, and here you have got the 4 channels that are going to be exactly the same, and beyond channel 4 you've got other channels up to 9. Here we've got our on-off switch with a volume control. The last one, I honestly don't know what it's doing. I'm sorry, but I've got no idea. Here is off. And the interesting thing, the radio is taking almost 100 milliamp of current when it's off, most likely to keep the channel memory. So if you are using like a primary battery, I would recommend you to disconnect it from the radio if you are not using it, because it's going to drain it completely. And tuning is quite simple, so that's not going to be that big problem. And let's connect our handset. So we go like this and rotate, and we are connected. And by the way, that's a TRC-552 radio battery. It's completely unrelated. I ordered batteries and they are still making them in a lithium-ion technology, which is perfect. Let me hook up this radio for a very short, so I can teach you how to program this. Okay, so I connect the radio to the power, and we can very quickly try to program it. So first of all, we are going to turn the radio on, and we are going to the programming, which is directly showing you input from the keyboard. And let's program this radio. Let's program our channel 1. To program this radio, it's very simple, but you have to remember, we go to the hash key. Now we put a 0 and channel number with leading 0. I've got no idea what's that, because there is only 9 channels, so I don't see really reason to enter this with a 0, but yeah, that's how they make it. And 0, 1, this is our first channel. If we would like to see what's programmed, we hit this key and it's going to show the frequency, but I'm pretty sure it's not programmed, it was disconnected, so the memory will be erased. And now I'm going to just enter the frequency. Let's go 26, go into the citizen band. We wait a couple seconds and it's going to be memorized and it's stored. Let's put on a channel 2 frequency in the amateur radio. So hash 02 as channel 2 and go to the 2800 megahertz, and it will be stored in second. Let's take a look, or now we can go to the radio and you can hear the hissing, and as you can hear, it's changing the frequency. We can go and just as an experiment, we can program something extremely far away. So hash channel 3, and let's make it a 50. That's a very common amateur radio military calling frequency. And it's store. I can go to the handset mode. I can lock this, and now I'm going to operate this radio just by rotating this. And I'm not sure if you can hear, but it's clicking the relay. So yeah, it's working. If you would like to silence the radio, here is your button for the squelch, and now it's silent. To unmute this. And yeah, so let's imagine that we have no idea what kind of frequency do we have on this radio. So we go to the programming mode, and what kind of frequency do we have on channel number 1? So we've got the hash key, channel number 01, and here we know that this is at 26 megahertz. If we would like to change it, I can right now enter the new frequencies. So I can go to the 30 megahertz, and it will be stored in just a second. And I can go hash 01, and this is the frequency that is programmed. Let's take a look at the amateur radio 50 megahertz that we put. Hash 03, what's programmed there? 50 megahertz. As you can see, working perfect. I do not have to do anything. I can go to the hash 02. Our 28 should be here. And yes, it is. So as you can see, the programming could be a little bit complicated, but actually it is very easy. I'm not going, of course, transmit because we do not have attached the antenna, do not have dummy load. But yes, this is the first look at the TRC-552. I think we could make a very small compare on the citizen band radio and just try how the long whip antenna is going to work against the rubber ducky, even if the handheld citizen is having more power. So yeah, this is how it looks like. Very nice radio. I'm very happy with it. Hope you find that interesting. See you next time, and bye bye.